Mass Effect 4 is a game that will happen someday.
What did
You do
Christopher
the big,
Walken's here.
the long,
There's
list of papers here.
There's the big Reddit. I like how this is all from a survey. Like, what the hell kind of a survey?
This
just
is
gives us much information.
This is literally, 3.5 pages of information. What do we learn here? The next Mass Effect context. Next Mass Effect takes place in the Helios cluster. It's a cluster of hundreds of solar systems in the Andromeda Galaxy. Okay. Apparently, it's 4 times the size of Mass Effect 3.
That's a large video game.
There's some mean guys and some space. You have to collect resources to fuel your growth. The big takeaway here is that it sounds a lot like Mass Effect in terms of like, oh, you need to get resources. You're going to upgrade your stuff. You're going to have a squad you've got to manage. But the difference is they have totally destroyed the, I mean, spoiler alert, they totally destroyed the Mass Effect relay. So basically it's kind of it sounds like it could be sort of post-apocalyptic, but in space.
Yeah.
I mean, basically you're rebuilding. You're working as it is suddenly a bold new frontier, which is really cool. And I'm really drawn to that idea. And that's something that Mass Effect never did for me. I never really liked that sense of just, hey, a bunch of stuff's already in place here. You know, if they make it like kind of a weird, like, I mean, if they make it a little Star Warsy and it's kind of a used future where there's like people are kind of scrappy and they're sort of trying to get by. And,
Totally.
But it's there's a multiplayer horde mode that's not really new. Active strike team missions.
One of the things I really like from here is I like the idea that it seems to be pulling a little bit from Dragon Age Inquisition, where it seems like it's very much about sort of building your universe.
Oh, completely.
And sort of making things your own. And so you know, as you're exploring these planets, you're meeting new people, you're developing new settlements, and you're sort of like you're creating this universe, and you're like putting your thumbprint on it, which I really like.
I like that a lot. Also, just I think the coolest thing they could do, and Dragon Age Inquisition did not do this at all because they were trying to half do the kind of like, let's sort of start fresh, kind of like you're kind of a new character, sort of, but like it's still like assuming that you know some stuff about the universe. Like there's definitely parts where they didn't really try to explain much to you. I really hope that they can just treat this like a brand new game.
Yeah.
And if they can just introduce players like, guess what's happened since here's what's happened since the last game, but don't assume that everyone knows what a Krogan is, you know? Introduce a Krogan for the first time, like, holy crap, that's a big Gila monster, you know?
Yeah.
And then, like you meet him and he's a jerk and you're like, oh, they're like a warlike race. That's cool. I'm into that. And the thing is that the Mass Effect games are always so like, they're so loaded with information. There's so much context and so much stuff there to kind of unpack. And I really respect that, but the means in which you're kind of, in which you eat it, it's not, or you don't eat it, but the way it kind of like, it is given to you, it's very much like, here's a pile of stuff. You know, you talk to somebody for 5 minutes and it's like you unlocked 5 new codexes, and it feels like a high school history textbook versus versus like a world that you're being brought into.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching Empire Strikes Back last night. Surprise. And there's that part in there where Luke gets to Cloud City, and there's just this stretch of silence where he's just kind of going through it. You know,
just like, what the hell is this?
And it's that kind of show don't tell mentality, which is one of the kind of the cardinal rules of cinema, I guess, which I don't think is often enough used in video games. You know, like they just beat you over the head with exposition as opposed to being like, figure some stuff out for yourself, and then we'll have a little thing in your menu that you can look at if you need to read up. But
I think people would be way less prone to skip cutscenes and story stuff if story wasn't so much story like and then explain everything to you, or it's 2 people talking and one of them's walking away from the other because it's a video game. I really like that, the notion of just sort of being like, here's this thing, here's this area, like let it teach you what you want to take from it rather than just having to get beaten over the head with a story.
Do you think I mean, we keep calling it Mass Effect 4. Do you think that's what it's going to be called?
I really doubt it.
No.
They dropped the 3 from Inquisition. I think that they really want to separate. Like that's the big problem, and it's kind of amazing that Assassin's Creed has managed to. I mean, they've dropped numbers too.
Yeah.
I guess what else has dropped numbers is
Star Wars
and Marvel, because that's the thing is the higher the number is, the more new people you're scaring off.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think they're going to call it probably Mass Effect
something.
Mass Effect Context.
That numbering thing somehow still flies in the Fast and the Furious franchise for some reason. That movie
Even
made
though-
billions of dollars.
Well,
Even
nothing
though
else
they
in
keep,
that-
like, changing,
I know.
like,
Nothing else in the convention makes any sense, and I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
To me, the Fast and the Furious movies are like if you have like a DVD series, but like the labels are like slightly off. There's
Yeah.
like the one. There's always a picture. There's one of the Harry Potter movies on DVD. Like the title is like lower than the other ones, and so like you go across your collection.
Damn it.
Yeah.
An active affront to people who notice that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm assuming. I mean, do you think again E3? Like this is definitely not a fall game. Like this is not.
No, I think
Yeah.
if it does get anything at E3, it'll be a teaser trailer. People love those.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll get anything this year.
Yeah, because it was one of the games.
I could see a teaser trailer.
We had that weird last year at EA's press conference. It was the like behind the scenes docs on a lot
Right,
of those
that was
games.
so
Mass
that
Effect
was
had one.
Horrible. It was so
Star Wars
awful.
had one.
Yeah.
Mirror's Edge had one.
That's-
The other.
Yeah, Max
that
and I
one-
were ranting about this the other day. It's
Make the thing and then tell us how it's made.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
tell us how it's like. If you went to a restaurant and the chef came out and was like, "So I'm going to describe to you what the food is like before you," and then you went back and you had to wait several hours for it to come out of the kitchen. You're like, "Well, that was really kind of insulting." You know?
Here's the photos. Here's some photos of this cow, very young, before it became your burger. And you're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I love concept art so much, but it makes me just livid when it's used as a marketing material because it's like maybe you're not even going to deliver on that front. Like it's just show it after the fact, and then you're like, oh man.
I was thinking about this stuff with Star Wars. Like I can't wait until the new one comes out and the new film comes out, and I go and if I fall in love with it, like I think I will, which I know I will, I'll go and I buy all the art books for it. And I'm like, these are all the character designs I didn't use yet. But that always felt like, especially at E3. E3 is like the place where you want to be like, so is this a new Mass Effect game? And they're just like, there's plenty of stories to be told in the Mass Effect universe. I mean, some of them we've told before, and others will be told by other people
Using
sometimes.
concept art and developer diaries to sell your game or to build hype for it is like putting baby pictures on your OkCupid profile.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this is wrong. Why would you ever think that is a good thing?
Yeah.
Are we hooking up? No,
love
this
that.
is the time when I didn't even know what hooking up was. But what a
In high school, I won several awards, and it was very exciting for me. My parents love me. Here are pictures of my parents too. You can look at them. It's like, what do you look like?
Yeah.
Who are you? What do you actually
Who's
enjoy?
this like bewildered entrepreneur you guys have created?
I don't know. I don't know. We were doing that voice all weekend. It's definitely happening. It's definitely coming. If last year didn't tip us off with their 10-minute long documentary about what it's like to imagine space planets,
I'm gonna make
this is it. But
I'm gonna make a prediction.
What's
I'm gonna
up?
make a big old prediction. I
Bold.
think that they are gonna have behind closed doors demos at PAX Prime.
Whoa.
That's a
Wow.
pretty specific
That is very
prediction,
specific.
but I've
When is that?
noticed
September.
August.
yeah, all right.
I've noticed that publishers and studios frequently kind of develop patterns in terms of how they market stuff and how they present stuff. Yeah, I saw Dragon Age Inquisition at PAX Prime, not the last one, but 2012, I think.
Yep.
And they were like, "Hey, this isn't done yet." You know, it says like pre-alpha all over it. Last year, they were showing off behind closed doors Shadow Realms, which has since been canned.
That was not a real video game.
No, they were like, "Here's what we got so far," and I don't know if they just do that as kind of like they show it to some fans and just they show it to some. I don't think they showed Dragon Age Inquisition to anybody, but I mean, it was like press events and stuff, and I think that
That could make sense because if the game isn't huge at E3, it might be big at Gamescom, which is like a couple weeks before PAX, and that's sort of the time that makes sense.
I just hope it's something more than a logo. Anyone can make a logo.
And also when it
I
says
can
like
make a
logo
logo.
subject to change at the bottom, like why did you?
Oh,
Why did
yeah,
any
it's
of
just
this
a logo.
happen? And it's just like this might not be the actual
Underneath,
logo.
it's like even this ain't real, sucker. I hate that. Show
if you
me
wanna,
something. You know.
If you want to make a Mass Effect logo at home, you can use the font slider, and then put a simple light to blue, like blue gradient, blue to white, and just put that on
Are
there.
these real?
A little
Yeah.
bit of a bevel
Should I be taking
emboss.
notes? A
There you
bevel
go.
emboss.
I've made so many goddamn thumbnails with the Mass Effect logo in it.